Good morning everybody, let's have a look at EOS on this video. I know I make videos on EOS all the time, but it's because I honestly truly do believe something's going to happen to it. It's not that, I suppose, based upon belief, it's based upon technical analysis. So the last time we made a video, I suppose, was shortly after this really, where I said it's been a pretty hard week for EOS, which it certainly was, definitely a bad week. And I classify this whole thing as a shakeout. But if we were to go back and look at pretty much any altcoin, they all suffered a weekly candle similar to that. The only difference is that most altcoins have had several weeks, if not months, worth of uptrend, so it hasn't looked quite so devastating. But anyway, the way I left that last video was that I'm going to treat it as another opportunity to buy some more. And you know, and I'll say it every time. EOS isn't, you know, the best thing in the world. It's not the best coin ever that you've ever seen, and it's not going to have the best returns that anyone's ever seen. But from these levels down here, we could. I honestly, truly do believe that we should get about a 5x from down at these levels, and the original sort of buy-in zones roughly around here. Yeah, we're looking for. I honestly think we probably could be looking at a 10x from these bottom zones of the accumulation period. So anyway, we're back out of the accumulation zone again, which is nice, and so what we're looking to see is for us to dance around this region from $3.90 to $5.35, thereabouts, and reaccumulate around here perhaps. Now, obviously Bitcoin is taking a bit of the dominance, basically. It's taking the dominance. Which means that if anything does trend with Bitcoin, it's likely to trend at a slower rate. However, that's obviously not quite the case, because as we see, even as of today, after a little bit of retracement, EOS up 10% and Bitcoin up 5%. So there is a chance that some of these top cap coins, or the coins that have the charts that permit a move, will actually move against their dollar pairing. Now, when it comes to EOS, I think the move has at this moment been played out. It's probably going to want to come back down, and the reason I say that is that the Bollinger Bands here are not really they're not going to permit another big move. If we did get another move, it would be to this breakdown zone, this breakdown area, around about $4.70, roughly about $4.70. So if for whatever reason EOS did pop outside of the Bollinger Band, it would almost certainly get rejected around that level, which is fine, because the way I like to look at Bollinger Bands is I try to give them some kind of physical properties. You know, like I call this sort of, I suppose, you know, this is the zero gravity and this is the breathing area. Everything wants to be back in the breathing area. You can go for a trip into outer space, but you just have to come back in here sooner rather than later. It's not that you can't poke your head out of your spaceship. You have to get back inside every now and then, and pretty quickly. I mean, the rules of Bollinger Bands are that 95% of price action takes place within inside the Bollinger Band. So even though we can stretch outside on a savage uptrend, which we do get, and look, that's how EOS behaved back here. You know, the Bollinger Band's pinched, and we surfed the outer perimeters of the Bollinger Band. That could happen. It definitely could happen. Well, I think with Bitcoin taking the lead at the moment, I think the move for EOS has been made for the moment. And if we did pop up to here, that would be good, because it would allow this Bollinger Band to start to stretch out and go open and allow for us to begin to surf the outer rim. But it's not ready yet. I'm not saying that, you know, this isn't going to do the move I expected to do. I definitely do think that. But for the moment, it's the move yesterday was a decent move. It outperformed most of the top cap alts to the tune of close to 20%. From bottom to top, and now we're going to probably come back down, I would imagine, to roughly about $4 or so, testing the 10 exponential on the daily. Now, if we go back to the weekly, just to remind everybody, you know, what I'm seeing here, which is a conversion baseline, Chiku span above price action, above the cloud. This is bullish. It's very, very bullish. This is bullish, as in we're looking to make an uptrend. Right now, I've shown this before, so this is what we see. We see this, and this is what I've said. There is like a mirror here. We're looking to have a mirror image. This is the mirror, and this is what it's going to look like afterwards. So we're going to reverse this trend. Maybe not in the same time frames, but basically that's the trend that we're looking to reverse. Probably quicker, because this took essentially, from here was 2018. I would imagine this trend to finish by 2022, January by 2022. and it could run into 2022. That's how EOS behaved in the past. Everything had finished it. Everything had done a giant bull run. The bull run was essentially over for everybody, but EOS, for some reason, carried on, just did its thing, and it shot up. So that's another reason why I like a chart like this, because it's slightly decoupled in a way from the rest of the market. It's obviously not decoupled. It's very, very heavily influenced by everything, but it's not basically just going to. When it gets going, it's going to trend on its own, I would imagine. So this is the sort of vibe I'm looking for, and pretty much I'm expecting a full-on reversal. That's clearly not what it's going to look like, but but you know what I'm saying. This Chiku span over here is clearly above the price action. This conversion baseline cross signals a trend beginning on the weekly from here, and when I get one of these on the weekly, it does. It's not, I mean, not always, but in the case of things like Holochain, which has done it, they do move pretty savage. Now, this is a top cap coin with a lot of volume on it, so for it to do something like Holochain, even though the signature is very similar, is unlikely, but it's not impossible. This honestly could launch and just continue to go, and then obviously as momentum builds and people go, oh, EOS is the best thing, I didn't realise, I forgot all about EOS, oh great, EOS is the best thing. At the moment, EOS is basically, it's got a bad name for itself. Everyone talks about the developer who left and blah 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 blah. None of that means anything to me. It's the chart itself that speaks to me, and the chart has told me that the trend will reverse on the weekly term time frames from here. So this is our last peak. This will be our next peak, $7.70, and then probably from there a savage move, probably all the way up to an all-time high. But that's just speculation. We'll take this one step at a time, but at the moment I'm very, very confident in what I'm seeing here. And you know, I don't have a 100% win ratio, but recently I've had a close, well, I mean, it's not about wins, it's about reading these charts appropriately. And if you look at what I did with FET, look at what I did with Holochain, Phantom, you know, they all show signatures that I look at on dailies and weeklies, and those signatures then, I suppose, I act upon them, trusting what I see in the face of essentially what looks like a bottom, and then you know, it works out. I suppose it does work out. So I'm going to trust my analysis like I do with everything else, and if it doesn't work out, that's fine, fair enough. But if it does work out, I wouldn't be surprised, because it's the same kind of signature that I've seen on many charts that I've traded so far, which have basically done a 10x or more. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there, but thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.